we may look at these roadblocks that we talk about and say, oh my goodness, these are too big. This purpose journey is too hard. It's not easy. But when you think about it, like it is in those moments of adversity where we grow, where we build character, where we get to make the mindset shifts that are needed. And because it's bigger than us. And God is saying, first of all, I want to see, can I trust you? Can I trust your obedience? Can I trust your character? Can I trust your submission to me? Can I trust that you have stickability? Can I trust that you will trust me? Can I trust that you have faith?
Welcome to the Purpose Finder podcast, where life is viewed through the lens of purpose, design, and legacy. Here, we believe purpose comes in different colors, shapes, sizes, and textures, because no two callings and journeys are ever the same. Hosted by Charissa Monroe Wilborn, this is where a purpose meets you where you are. Let's begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another amazing episode of the Purpose Finder podcast, where you know it. Our mission is simple: to inspire you to find and uncover your life's purpose and to live a life overflowing with three things: meaning, fulfillment, and significance. Why? Because deep down, we all crave belonging. No one wants to feel unfulfilled. And we are all searching, asking that very same question: why in the world am I here? Well, I hope you allow your search to end right here on the podcast. I am your host, Charissa Monroe Wilborn, and we are going to dive deep into purpose and how it sets the tone for every aspect of our lives. And today I have the privilege and the honor to sit with a beautiful soul, Antonia Lightbourne, who isn't just talking about purpose. She isn't just about purpose on a monthly basis, but she is living it boldly. We're going to hear about her journey and her lessons along the way. Antonia, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
I am doing great. I am just so excited to be here with you.
Absolutely.
Excited.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I couldn't have a whole Purpose Finder podcast and not have what I'm going to call the Purpose Lady
Wow.
on as a guest. And I'm probably going to lead with this, and then we'll work ourselves backwards. But
Okay.
one of the things that you do in the world that I adore is you started this movement called the Purpose Awareness Month.
Yes.
And please tell us about that. But before you tell us about that, tell us who Antonia Lightbourne is, where you are from, what you do, and a little bit about your past and what brought you to where you are now.
Awesome. So, my name is Antonia Lightbourne. Like you said, I am born and raised in Nassau, Bahamas.
Woohoo!
And yeah,
Shout out
big
to the
ups to the
Bahamas.
Bahamas.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. I am really passionate about the message of purpose. I am passionate about seeing persons walk in their purpose. I am passionate because I know what the discovery of purpose can do for an individual, especially one like me that came and suffered through things like low self-esteem and depression. And so I know what the journey of purpose did for me. And so I felt like, I don't even know how to really describe it, but it was I think I can say a fire in me that was like, you got to get this message out there to persons and helping them to understand the importance of discovering purpose. So for me, going way back, like I said, as a teenager, I can remember specifically struggling with low self-esteem and depression, really not liking what I saw and just not knowing like what in the whole world, like, when you get in grades 12, everybody's asking you the question, what are you going to do with your life? And I'm like, child, I don't know. My friends, they had an idea of what they wanted, but I didn't. I had no idea. And I told my mom, I said, Mommy, I said, listen, I said, when I graduate, I just need some time because I really didn't know. And so as when I got saved at the age of 16. I graduated at 16 shortly after I got saved. And that started the journey for me. And Simone Bowe was doing a teaching at the time. And she is from Bahamas Faith Ministries, and that's where Dr. Miles is. And she was like speaking about this message that impacted her. And in this moment, she is talking about purpose, and the message is now impacting me. She's talking about it, and I feel like I left the room, even though I was still in the room. And I started having this conversation with the Lord. And I was like, God, why am I here? Like, what is it that you want to do with me? And it was in that moment that he downloaded the vision for In You, which is a youth organization helping youth appreciate, embrace, and release their inner greatness. And literally, I watched the message and the journey of purpose for me evolve from there. So it has been an incredible journey. And then from that, in 2016, I launched Purpose Awareness Month. So it's a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much what the journey has been like.
And tell us, what is Purpose Awareness Month? What does it
Oh,
do? What is the movement? We'll go back. I want to go back, but
okay.
I want to talk about where you are now, like Apex, the mountaintop, what you do, because I
Okay.
want to be able to now bring context to where you came from.
Okay. So Purpose Awareness Month is all about providing individuals with the tools necessary to discover and live out their life purpose. So we every month, in the month of April, we are celebrating the message of purpose the entire month. And I'm so grateful that we have been able to celebrate this nationally. So we were able to get the proclamation from the government of the Bahamas that April is declared Purpose Awareness Month. And so we have seen persons all across the Bahamas, and the color for Purpose Awareness Month is coral. So we wear our coral and we are just celebrating. And what I love, I have to say this, is when we do one of my favorite things is Purpose on my campus, when we take it into the schools. Oh my goodness. To see what the message does to the young people, it is incredibly beautiful, because it's like you trying to tell me that God didn't just create me and sent me here. He sent me here for a specific reason. And you're trying to tell me that there are people that are depending on me to walk in that purpose. For them, that is like, wow. And then when we get into the discussion of what are you passionate about? What do you love to do? Oh my goodness, they light up. It's like, oh wow, like I understand, and so it has been a beautiful thing. But we have a whole slew of events that happen during the month of April. Purpose on my campus is just one of those things. We also have choral table talk, where we just have the discussion of purpose with different persons, talking about their journeys, and persons being able to ask questions about their journeys and how it is that they can discover purpose, and how is it that they can walk through and navigate changes and transitions and all of that stuff. So it's a whole lot of stuff. And then we have an actual day where it's like a social media takeover, and persons post their frames and all of that stuff. So, and all of this happens April of every year since 2016.
And it's beautiful. I've had the privilege and the honor of being a part of Social Media Takeover, where I
Yes.
submit a picture and I'm there with my purpose awareness symbol and icon. And it's just been beautiful to be a part of the movement. And I remember when you've asked me over the years, I mean, saying yes was very easy because it was also a part of who I am. So I wasn't
Yeah.
just showcasing just something because I could be on social media, but it was also showcasing what's also valuable and passionate to me, and that's purpose.
Yeah.
And I think purpose is one of those things that people can say, "Oh, it's overrated." People are always talking about it. Oh, there she go talking like about it like her father again. And
Hmm.
but I don't think that people understand, Antonia,
They
how
don't.
vital purpose is to
Mhm.
life.
Yes.
And as I
It.
listen to you talk with such authority and passion just now, I'm thinking about, but this is also a woman who knows that when she was younger, she was under depression and
Hmm.
low self esteem, and she somewhere in your bones you knew this can't be it.
No.
And so I want to go there for a little bit
Hmm.
and to talk about the depression and where it came from, to talk about the low self esteem and what started it. And kind of how long were you sitting in that? And then what was it? I know you said when you turned 16, you got saved. That's when it all changed. But what was it that made the shift for you? And you're like, I don't have to be depressed. I don't have to be bound by whatever this is that's keeping me down.
Well, I know, like you said, like as a teenager struggling with that, I my parents went through a divorce. When that happened, I could remember everything changing for me. My grades like took a, I don't know. I remember my mom pulling up outside, and for my hair calling my name from the road, I already knew my report card wasn't making sense. But literally everything shifted for me during that time because I couldn't understand why. And a lot of times, I guess as children, we start to think about what did I do wrong? Even though it's your parents that's going through it, you're trying to figure out what did I do wrong? And a whole lot of stuff just was happening. And I just felt like I didn't even want to exist at some points. And I remember being in such a like I was in such a dark space. And to be honest, I didn't really have language for that. And I remember one day my aunt called and she was like, "Where's Antonia? I had a dream." And she was in a very dark room. And I remember her sharing this dream. And I remember I started to weep because it felt like she was giving language to what I couldn't express at the time. And a lot of it stemmed from I the divorce, yes, but also me not knowing what I wanted. Not knowing, when you're around people and they know what they want, and you're like, I have no idea. Like I sincerely had no idea what I wanted to do. At one point, I could remember telling my teacher, "Oh, I want to be an actress," and so I was in a drama club, and I still didn't know. And so I went through that feeling of not belonging. Like, the question of why am I even here? Why do I even exist? What is the reason for that? And so coming out of that dark place was recognizing that I didn't have to stay there because there was so much more to life for me. There was so much that God wanted to do with me. And I want to share this, because there could be somebody out there that's dealing with this. I remember I was struggling so bad with low self esteem and depression that at one point I felt sorry for my friends. I felt
Mm,
like I said, why would they want to be friends with me? And I started to literally feel sorry for my friends. And I started to isolate myself because I didn't feel worthy of certain things. And I tell you nowhere to lie, the discovering my relationship with the Lord and discovering his purpose for my life, it really helped to pull me out of that dark space. And I'll be completely honest, even after salvation, I still found myself going back to this dark place. And I could remember one day I was doing something at church and my pastor was like, "Well, look at you. What is going on? I see that depression is on you." And I was like, wow. And it's so crazy that you could be dealing with something for so long that you don't even recognize
yeah.
when it's there, because it's almost like a safe place for you. Like this is what it's always been. It feels normal. And I remember her asking that, and I'm trying to figure out, am I am like I am. And I realized that it was really me not knowing who I was, understanding what it was that God had called me to, understanding that it was so much more to life than just merely existing. And I could remember in that moment, especially that specific moment when Simone Bill was talking, everything everything changed for me. And from there on out, I watched God violently, and I believe that it's been happening for a very long time, but from that moment I knew that he was violently coming after me, and it has been a journey ever since.
And I know that you just spoke to another female, another male listening to your
Hmm.
story because so many times we are in this rut. And I know there's so
Hmm.
many people, and that's why I say, like, I don't care what people think about purpose. I will forever be a beacon of light, hopefully, to someone talking about it because I also too recognize what it is
Mm-hmm.
in a dark space, Antonia, and not want to be here.
Yeah.
Mine was, of course, my story was when I lost my parents, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought that my entire life was connected to their being. So they're if they aren't here, what in the heck I want to be here for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I quickly had to realize that, but they're not my source. They're
Yeah.
not my ultimate source. But in
Mm-hmm.
the times when I wanted to be left alone and I thought of not wanting to be here and wishing I was on the plane too, and like I think about the fact that, man, but Sharissa, you are here.
Yeah.
You are here. And I was reminded that you're here because there's still something left for you to do. Like you're not
Mm-hmm.
done. You're not
Mm-hmm.
finished.
Yeah.
And so that is what every day for the last 11 years has allowed me to wake up every morning still
Mm-hmm.
smiling and still ready and still willing to do uh, this life, this thing called life,
For
but
sure.
purposefully, purposefully.
Mm,
And so I
yeah.
hope that those who are listening to my story and listening to Antonia's story, like I hope you recognize that where you are, first of all, it's seasonal.
Yeah.
It's very, very seasonal. It's very temporary. And it gets to be even more temporary when you recognize that I don't have to stay here. This is not where I belong. There's so much more life for me to do. There's so much more purpose for me to fulfill. And we get to see that you and I, yes, we have our moments, even the best of us. We
Yes.
have those dark moments. We have those deep
Mhm.
moments. We have those I don't want to be bothered moments. But we're still able to get through, get up, get over, overcome, and then still accomplish great things. Great
Yes.
things
Definitely.
in
Definitely.
life. Along your journey, Antonia, was there any was there any one? I know you mentioned Simone Bow, who I know very
Mhm.
well. Apart from Simone, was there anyone else that you attached yourself to that helped you along this journey? Because, like you say, even after salvation, you still
Yeah.
found yourself going back.
Hmm. For sure. There are several persons, and I feel like God has been so strategic with putting people in positions to really to help me as I navigated the journey. And I want to say too, like when you become committed to the journey of purpose, it's nothing that's easy, right? Sometimes people feel like, oh, purpose, but there is pain that comes with that as well, and there are things that are within us. I'm talking about the depression, all that things that things have to be worked out of us, and things that we need to be free from, and all of that stuff. But God has like, and being a leader too, sometimes you don't necessarily have the safe spaces to talk to. So I remember I was, just like, God, who do I talk to? And I said, to be completely honest with you, I said, if I'm gonna be talking to anybody to help me navigate this journey, I say you gotta give them a dream or something. I say, because I am closed. Like I could be like I can like sometimes I'm very, very reserved. Like, and I can be very to myself sometimes. And so I was like, you gotta help me like with this. And I remember uh Apostle Rosemary Pena, I will never forget it. She says, hey, I had a dream, and it has been the journey ever since. Like, she has helped me to navigate seasons. It's been Apostle Rosemary Pena, it's been Apostle Raymond Wells being under his ministry. It has been Apostle Ivory Johnson as well. There's so many persons that have helped. uh Listen to me, Dr. Miles, watching those let me tell you something. I talk about watching those messages, I mean watching those messages. And building something on purpose, you can't build and not find yourself, watching and learning. I am still learning from those messages and those teachings. I go on YouTube and I do my stuff. And there are books, you can purchase the books. And so I'm still learning from even from Dr. Miles. And I'm learning, and these are persons that have helped me on my journey. And there are so many more persons, but more prominently, and also Simone Bo, like I had mentioned. I'm sure I forgot some persons, but oh, Mark Cartwright, because he was the person that God used to invest in the dream that I had initially as well.
And I asked that question specifically because one of the things that I've recognized that goes along with purpose as it links to leadership as it links to vision is the importance of mentoring, or
Mm-hmm.
the importance of mentorship, and the importance of having someone who who's just way ahead of you, helping you, but also covering you. Because
Yes.
like you say, and you said it best, and I wrote it down. You said this life and journey of purpose ain't easy.
No.
People believe that, oh, when I find my gift and I discover it and then I put it to work, it's gonna open these big rooms to me. Therefore, it's gonna open
Mm-hmm.
my bank account. Uh, so let me be the first to tell you that ain't the case.
No.
Like it's really
No.
not. It does require sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes that sacrifice shows up in pain,
Mm-hmm.
shows up in doors being closed, and the
Yes.
no's being more abundant, and like that's when you become a target, when you and
Yeah.
because it's the one thing that the enemy hates is for
Yes.
you to discover who you are and why you are here.
Mm-hmm. I
And so
agree.
that's when
100%.
the enemy sends the cavalry and say, look, that is our target, you go after her until.
Mm-hmm.
And so to know that, we have those persons who have been there, who have been in the dark areas, and they're able to help us out. They're able to rebuke when need to, but they're also able to just kind of show us the ropes.
Yes.
It may have taken them 25 years, and they're like, look, I could tell you how we could do it in 10,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And I'm
Um,
grateful for that.
and as you talk about not being easy, what are some of
Mm-hmm.
the adversities along your journey that you have met, that you've had to kind of sit with and overcome?
Yeah. One of the main things, it wasn't even anything external, it was me. And that was fear of becoming. Um, I could remember clearly my youth ministers, like if I could feel that they're about to call me for something, I go missing. Like they'd be looking for me. I was gone because I was so afraid. Like now God was beginning to show me more of what he wanted to do with me. And I really was afraid of that. And I could remember running and running and running. And I could remember having a dream because the Lord speaks to me in dreams. And he said, my mom came to me in the dream and she says, "Hey, you have to die." And I say, "Why?" And she said, "Because God needs you." I say, "Well, if I'm dead, he can't use me." She said, "He can only use you if you die." And I recognized in that dream, she was meaning that it wasn't about me. I have to come to the end of myself. Like I have to realize that this is not about me. And so I have to die to what I feel. Like this isn't about you. This is bigger. This is so much bigger than you. And so I had to overcome self, me. I had to get beyond myself and recognize that it's not about you, but it's about the people. Father, what did Jesus say? "Father, let this cup pass from me, but not my will. Thy will be done." And this is the place where we come to the end of ourselves. Like it's not about me at all. It's about what God wants. And I had to come to that place because I could be completely honest. There are times when even persons would have asked me to do certain things, to come certain places, to speak and do, and I just was like, no. I was finding excuses because I couldn't get past me. I couldn't get past myself. I couldn't believe in some cases. And like I said, there's a working out. As you go through these things and God is working things out of you, why do they want to sit and listen to me? Like, well, I'm sure there's somebody else that they could get that could say something more than what I could say. And so all of these things are in your head. And then you realize, no, but God chose you. He want to use
Ah,
you. This is an
he
opportunity
chose
he's
you.
giving to you. And you are making it about you. So how is God going to use you when it's all about you? You're full of yourself.
And
And
so I'm
so,
hearing also
mm,
imposter syndrome in there.
yeah,
How did you
yeah,
work through that? Like, what did you do? Because a lot of people deal with that very thing. And
that
you
very
said,
thing.
and what the sentence I heard was, why would they want to listen to me?
Yeah,
I'm young. I've been through life.
right.
Why would they want to listen to me? How, Antonia, have you worked through that and let that loud voice in your head, that's you talking to you, not be so overbearing that it continue to stifle? Hey, purpose seekers. If today's conversation has you thinking about your purpose, what it is, how to find it, and how to truly live it, then I have something special just for you. Introducing the Purpose Finder Formula. And you have free access to this 20-minute training designed to help you uncover your purpose and start living it with confidence. No fluff, no guesswork. It's clear, practical, step by step guide to finding meaning and gaining clarity and direction. Your purpose is calling. Are you ready? Head over to www.charissamunro.com/purpose finder formula. Enter your info and I'll send it straight to your inbox. Imagine waking up every day knowing your life has meaning, impact, and joy. That's what awaits you. So don't wait. Grab your free training today. Let's get back to the episode.
Obedience. I had to recognize that if I wanted all of what God had for me, I had to be obedient to what He was requiring of me. And that was me saying yes to God, even when I wanted to say no. And I could remember one time I just was like, somebody asked me, somebody's like, no, I can't do it. The Lord said, don't you say no again to another assignment that I sent to you. And I could remember feeling like, oh, he ain't playing with me. Okay, so I got to get myself together. And so I had to begin to say yes, even when I wanted to still say no. I could remember even times when going to speak certain places, like, I mean, I'm shaking like a paper, like a feather. I'm like, Jesus, Lord, please help me. Father, you say I must do this. So I know you're going to put the words, and for every time, because he's calling you, because he's opening the door, it's already in you. And I had to realize that. And for every time I said yes, I realized that it's already in me. He is my supply. And so if the demand is there, the supply is there, he will flow from through me. As long as I remain obedient to him, it's gonna flow. It's gonna flow. He is gonna have his way. And so I had to literally, and I still am daily submitting myself when I don't feel good enough, when I don't feel like I have what it takes, when I feel like there's somebody else that could do it. You know, they have this saying, I guess somebody else to do it. But you know, that's just how do you say that to the God that placed all of those things on the inside of you? And when you don't get it to the people who he has called you to, what is your response to him? Like, what do you say to him when you decide that you're going to do it your own way? And so I had to step out of my own way and just be obedient to God.
And so are there any other roadblocks that you would say? Because now we have finally discovered purpose, and then you get
Mhm,
on this journey. We said it's not easy, but then there are
mhm,
all these roadblocks, these hurdles that we have to
mhm,
go through. Um, what are some of the roadblocks that you've seen? Maybe not you, but that you've seen people face that uh, you want to encourage someone listening to make them aware that that is a roadblock. Don't get
mhm.
stuck by it. That is a hurdle. Don't just stop but jump over it.
I want to speak to the person that what God has placed on your heart, you don't see anywhere. So you don't necessarily have a template for it. Because a lot of times when we don't see it, we feel like we don't have the capability to make it happen. When I started my magazine, when I started in New Magazine, there were no Christian magazines at the time for youth. I didn't have a template. All I had was a word from the Lord. And so I had to follow what he was telling me to do. So I want you to know. And then also, even with the finances, because it's like, okay, you're telling me to do a magazine, where the money is going to come from. I started to use what I had. I tell you, I used what I had. Met with this guy named Farino Ferguson. He was doing our photos. He mentioned my name in a room that ended up paying for all the magazines that we were bringing in, because Mr. Mark Cartwright called for me to come to his house because he heard about it. Just do what God says. It's in the steps of obedience. You may not have the full picture. You may not know how it's all going to work out. You don't know where the money is going to come from. You don't know you don't know if people are going to understand the vision. I had people laugh at me. when I was doing certain things, I actually got a call and someone's like, people think you're crazy. I was like, wow, that's wild that they would think that. But the reality is, when you decide to do what God has called you to do and nobody is doing it, people are going to think that you're crazy. You're not doing it for them. That's what you have to always remember and realize. You're doing it for the one who sent you. And that will help you to keep moving and to keep pushing forward no matter what comes your way. But I know for sure people get stuck at I don't see it anywhere. I don't see it. I don't see it, God. You're telling me to do this, but I don't see it. And you have some people that see it. And so they feel like they don't need to do it because they already see it. So it's like, I already see that. Like I see somebody else doing that. Why you want me to do that too? But the reality is nobody can do it like you.
Like you. Absolutely.
Nobody. So all these singers in the world, but all of us have our favorites, or the people that really touch us, or the people that really impact us. Nobody can do it like you. What you bring to the table, nobody else brings that to the table. And so the reality is, God is telling you to do it because there are people for you to reach, a people for you to influence. And so even when you see it, do it. When you don't see it, do it. Because as long as God is telling you to do it, there's a need for it. And those are some of the big reasons why people will move. Yeah.
And you touched on it, and I want to reiterate it because you talked about as like you just moving forward and
Hmm.
saying, I don't have the money, but I have a word, and you
Right.
jumped on it, and you got into action. You made the first step, and then from there, someone knowing your vision, someone knowing your heart, you expressing it, and then that went on, and then here you are. Somebody is paying for exactly what you need, providing for your supply or for the demand, and it always brings me back to something my dad said, and ag- I, I s- what he said years ago resonated with me that even when I did my 31-day devotional book, I wrote it in the book because on the very second page it says, if you don't attempt things, you don't attract God.
Wow.
I didn't say it, but my dad did. And so of course I put, by Dr. Miles Monroe, if you don't attempt things, you don't attract God. And if you
That
want to
is so
attract
good.
if you want to attract God, if you want to attract his favor, if you want to attract his blessings, if you want to attract his promises, if you want to attract him in a situation, you have to make a step.
Yes,
You have
I
to make a
agree.
move.
Wow, that is
You
so
have
good.
to at least just say something. You have to
Hmm.
say, okay, I'm going to do it. It's like you said, you have to be obedient
Hmm.
and you have to submit.
Yes.
Like, and you said it again. When you see it, do it. When you don't see it, do it.
Yes.
Like God is always just waiting for us to start. And that
Yeah.
start could be a thought. Okay, in the morning, I'm going to do this. That's good enough for him. That's
Yeah.
better than saying, oh, in the morning, I ain't doing this.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so many times, God is truly waiting on us, Antonia, to
Yeah.
start so that we
Yes.
could attract everything that he has for us.
Hmm.
And as you were talking, it reminded me of how many people don't start something because of fear. They don't start because of negative opinions. They don't start because the voice in their head is saying, you're not good enough. You're not worthy. No one is going to listen to you. You're too small. You're from an island.
Hmm.
Where you think you're going? Like all
Hmm.
of that, they don't move.
Hmm.
And then they
Hmm.
meet up with April, and all they see on social media is,
Yes.
are you aware of
Yeah.
your purpose? Are you aware
Yeah.
of your purpose? Are you aware of your purpose? Are you aware of your purpose?
Hmm.
And this is why I will never stop this podcast because day in, day out, people are inundated with reasons
Hmm.
and roadblocks as to why fulfilling their purpose is too hard.
Yeah.
You can
They
stop
are.
right now. Someone could say, you can stop now, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And we don't get to stop. What is it about your journey and along your journey over the years that has made you not stop?
I want to share this dream that I had. I had a dream initially when the Lord had given me the vision to start the magazine. I had a dream, and in the dream, I saw the magazine, and I was like, "Oh, look at it!" And but it wasn't mine. It was the magazine that God gave me. It wasn't mine. It wasn't me that produced it. And I was like, why are you showing me this magazine if it's not mine? Because if you don't do it, then I'll get somebody else to do it. If you don't do it, then I'll get somebody else to start it. I'll get somebody else because I'm telling you, like God had already said to me. I had the vision, I had the whole download, and I was not moving. I was excited at first, and then I was like, mm-mm. When I got that dream, I started moving so fast. I never moved so fast in all my days. I was like, Lord, can he really trust you? Can he really trust you with what it is that he placed in your heart to do? That's what keeps me moving. And then also seeing what the vision does to people and seeing that it is making a difference. It is bringing about change. And with the youth organization and seeing the amount of young persons, their lives have shifted. And I'm so grateful too. And I want to say this. When I talked about the depression and low self-esteem, I couldn't understand it then, but most of the young persons that came into the organization were dealing with that. We're dealing with the exact. I'm like, hold on. Like, literally, most of them were dealing with the exact same thing. And so nothing's wasted, right? So even the things that you went through, Romans 8 and 28, that's word. All things work together for the good.
For the good of those.
All what the enemy meant, God will work it for your good. And so what helps me is always remembering that it's not about me. It's me consistently reminding myself about that. Because otherwise, let me tell you something. If we don't remind ourselves of that, we will become comfortable and lazy and we won't do anything. We have to consistently remind ourselves it's not about me. And there are people depending on me. And I see it every day. I see it in the faces of the young people. I see it with the people with purpose awareness. Those posts, they spark questions. People want to know, what is this about? Tell me more about this. I got to sit with the prime minister and share the message, share what we do. That was a beautiful thing, being able to share that message. It's a beautiful thing, and to see what it's doing for people, it helps me to keep pushing and remembering it's not about me as well.
It is not about you. And one thing about purpose is all about the people you serve. And when you think about purpose being bigger than who you are, it goes to show that even the adversities that we go through, like imagine, Antonia, the youth that you said you engaged with and encountered, they too went through depression. They too went through low self-esteem. Well, who is the better person, the best person to be able to stand in front of them and talk to them, because you too as a youth went through the exact same thing. And so talk about purpose being bigger than you. We may look at these roadblocks that we talk about and say, "Oh my goodness, I these are too big. This purpose journey is too hard. It's not easy." But when you think about it, like it is in those moments of adversity where we grow, where we build character, where we get to make the mindset shifts that are needed, and because it's bigger than us. And God is saying, first of all, I want to see, can I trust you? Can I trust your obedience? Can I trust your character? Can I trust your submission to me? Can I trust that you have stickability? Can I trust that you will trust me? Can I trust that you have faith? And the only way that I can test all those things is if I put you to the test. Are we willing to go through the test? Are we willing to accept this mantle of purpose and say, okay, yes, I want to live this out, and then go through everything that we need to go through? Because at the end of the day, it is, yes, our responsibility to fulfill purpose, but it is not about us. It is about the people we serve, it is about the next generation. I had someone tell me today, and I'm going to say this out loud for myself. I'm saying this out loud, not for you guys, so please do what you want to do with it. I'm saying this for myself. Someone said to me today, they prophesied into my life and they said, Charissa, you are here. God is going to use you to save the next generation.
Yes,
I
yes.
haven't figured out, Antonia, what to do with that.
Wow, that's heavy.
I really, they literally just said it to me before our call right now, and
Wow.
I haven't figured out what to do with it. I just wrote it down in my notes, and I've been very quiet.
Mm,
But there's something. But my everything, my entire being needs to hear me say it. I
yeah.
need to put it out there in the ether
Yeah.
because I need to decide if I'm gonna submit
Mm-hmm.
to it and say, God is about to truly use me and I need to say yes,
Mm-hmm.
or someone is just speaking from the
Listen.
from there, you know what, and I
Listen.
need to leave it alone. But it's been churning in my soul that
Mm-hmm.
God has been preparing me for something a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
I believe that.
reminded
Mm,
of me saying to my dad, to the world, that I am not going to be like my dad, Dr. Miles Monroe. It is my desire to be greater than my dad.
yeah.
And to be greater than my dad would be for God to do that very thing, to use me, little old me,
Mm-hmm.
to save the next generation.
Save the
What
next
that is going to
generation.
look like, how that's going to look like, only, like you say, if you don't see it, still do it. I don't see it,
Yes.
but
Mm-hmm. Still
I'm
got to do it.
I will answer the purpose
Yeah.
call every time I get it. Every
Wow.
time I get it. I'm like, I don't know what that looks like. I'm like, ugh, do I need to sit back like you did? But I get to say if I don't make a move, I can't attract God. Well, I've been making moves.
Yeah.
I've been making moves. And so if this is me attracting God and this is what God's coming with, I'm like, ooh, are we ready? Are we
Yeah.
ready for this
I
attraction?
you look ready to me. You look ready. You look ready to me. Yeah, but that's heavy.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. But, there's so many, and I do this Purpose Finder podcast over and over again. Every week I show up, not for
Mm-hmm.
me, Antonia. I show up for other persons to hear my story, to hear your story. I bring
Mm-hmm.
you on as a guest because I want the other woman and the other man listening to say, man, she is exactly where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And if she can make it through that
Yeah.
and
So can I.
get
Mm-hmm.
before the prime minister and start her own magazine and have a whole social media, if she can do that, then my goodness, the depression I'm feeling
Yeah.
is small things. If she can get over that, so can I. If she can find her confidence, so can I. If she can go from feeling like I don't want to be here and having thoughts of suicide to now just feeling full of life, so can
Mm-hmm.
I.
So can I.
And people get to look at you and say, and she's a beautiful woman. I can also too go
Mm-hmm.
through what I have to go through. It's not an easy road, but it's
No.
not the end of the road.
Right.
It's not the
That's
end
it.
of the road.
It's not the end.
So if someone came and asked you, as you do this Purpose Awareness Month, how do I
Mm-hmm.
discover? What
Mm-hmm.
is your framework? What is your thoughts on how you would encourage, especially the youth, to
Yeah.
discover their purpose, especially in today's world?
Well, the first thing is, I encourage them to do it the way that what it what happened with me when I heard the message. I started the conversation with the Lord. Lord, why am I here? And then another thing is understanding what is it that people call on me to do often. I think that really helped me as well. Persons were calling on me to do certain things, and I was like, why y'all keep calling on me to do that? Like, and it helped me to understand that it was literally linked to the purpose of God for my life.
Mhm.
All my life, like, young people always wanted to be around me, and I was just trying to figure it out. Like, even my little brother's friends and all that stuff. So look around you. What is it that you see that people gravitate to you regarding? People like to come to you for advice. People like to, what is it that you realize that people call on you for a lot? I found myself as a prefect from primary school, junior school, senior school, so I knew that the leadership was there because it literally followed me the entire time in my journey. So look at those things that are in your life. You can say, and then also ask mommy, what when I was a child, what was I doing often? My mom said to me, she said I would go outside And she said, I would line the rocks up and I would say, now, y'all rocks, y'all need to behave. Y'all need to say, I was talking to them like they were children. And she said, she was like, Antonia, you need to get in this house. And she said, she would always tell me that. And she said, one day my grandfather told her, stop calling her inside because one day they won't be rocks that she's teaching.
Ah,
They're going to be people. And so ask somebody that was around when you were a child, what is it that I used to do a lot? Like, I hear stories all the time. People be like, I used to be singing through the house, hollering my, and those are singers now. Or I used to talk a lot in class. They are speakers now. So look at all of those things, the things that you're passionate about, things that people call on you for, but start that conversation. And please do not think that purpose is something that's far away from you. It is in you. He said to Jeremiah, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. The purpose is in you. It's on the inside of you. And my pastor said something. She said, God is more invested in you discovering your purpose than you will ever be. I'll say that again. God is more invested in you discovering your purpose than you will ever be. So it's not something that is in the distance. It's already on the inside of you. It's literally just about discovering. And I want to say this too. It's not something you wake up one day and decide this is what I'm going to do. Okay? Not because you see somebody doing it means that it's what you need to do. That's not how this thing go. God already made a decision about you, all right? It's already written. The story, you don't even have to go create a plan. The plan is already laid out. The plan is already in place. The only thing you are doing now is discovering, and your acts of obedience will help you to discover even the more. But start, if you want to start somewhere, start with the conversation and also start in service. Find somewhere to serve. I'm telling you, find
run,
somewhere to serve. It'll save your life.
run, tell that. I hope you all listened. I hope you all hear the advice and the encouragement that Antonia just shared, and I love it. Find somewhere to serve and start the conversation. Not with anybody else.
Yeah.
Start the conversation with God. Oh, Antonia,
Mhm.
our time. Where's our time?
I don't know. I don't
Please.
know.
I know the people are saying, oh no, give us more of her. So please share where they can find more of you, more of this content. I know you wrote a book. Please tell us more about it.
Okay, so I did write a book for teenage girls. It's on Amazon, Dare to Declare by Antonia Lightbourne. You can also find me on Instagram, Antonia Lightbourne, and also on Facebook, Antonia Lightbourne. I don't have much content out there, but I'm going to take this as my cue to start doing some stuff. So I'm going to have some stuff out there, but I do have a little stuff here and there on my Instagram and on YouTube as well. But it's Antonia Lightbourne.
Thank you so much for sharing. And y'all, please keep watching for April. You will see a social media takeover from the Bahamas. I'm
Yes.
excited. Hopefully, I can be a part of it again this year.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
But we are so grateful for you, Antonia. Thank you so much for being here. I know the woman and man, young and old, listening to your story, to my story, to this episode, there is one thing that they can take home and actually put into action that will change the complete trajectory of their life. And I hope that that is you today, finding the answer to your search of why you are here. Antonia, there's one thing that I love to do with all of my guests before I sign off, and I love to talk about food. It's one of my passions. So please share with us, what is your favorite restaurant or your favorite food?
Well, I love sushi,
Ooh,
but I also really love Mexican food. And so we have this place over here called Mexicabo.
ah,
It's
yeah.
best they give me shares in that place at this point. But I love, I
I
love
know it well. I know
Mexicabo
it
and I love
well.
Stan. I love sushi. Love.
I know it well. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Well, guys, that is another amazing, great episode of the Purpose Finder podcast. I am your beautiful host, Sharissa Monroe Wilborn. And until next time, see you soon. Bye.
That brings us to the end of today's episode of the Purpose Finder podcast. If this conversation resonated with you and added value, take a moment to like, share, and leave a comment. We would love to hear what inspired you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thank you for spending this time with the Purpose Finder podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.